This is the Charlie Kirk episode that we have not put out yet. We've been wanting to put an episode out, and we did do an episode the day after that dreadful day. And the news was traveling so fast at that point that it was like the next day, everything that we had said was already obsolete and it would have been old news.
Yep.
But what I have noticed, and maybe you've noticed this as well, it hasn't gone away.
No, movement keeps going.
This happened.
And it seems to be growing.
What happened? When did this happen? September 10th.
Yes, correct.
I know it's the day before 9/11 because we were in here on 9/11 talking about 9/11 and that. And now we're in October 29th or 28th. So it's been
this one's holding. This one's holding, sticking around. Because I've said it before, one problem with our society is it seems that we have a very short memory.
Yeah.
Tragedy happens in the news, friggin' month goes by, gone.
Well, it's the same thing with 9/11, right? Like the tagline was never forget.
Yeah, never forget.
And now 20 something years later,
our kids don't even know what it is.
We barely even talked about it on 9/11 this year because of the Charlie Kirk thing.
The Charlie Kirk, right.
So I don't know. But anyway, so what did the left dislike about Charlie? Why did they call him a fascist? So I figure what you and I would do real quick is we would go through a couple of the left's top claims.
Yep.
And we would do something that they don't do, and that's put it into context.
Put it into context, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So we were just talking a few minutes ago about Christian nationalism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think that there needs to be, I don't know, Christian nationalism, to me, it sounds very rigid.
Mm.
I understand the idea behind it.
Yeah, like my way or the highway type thing.
Or
like...
so this is one of the things about Christian nationalism. Go ahead.
Or like this is what it should be. You know what I mean?
Moral, like the moral police.
Yeah, right.
And while I do think that, all right, so our founders said it, right? They said that the only way to have a functioning society, and I know I'm butchering it, but is if everybody within that society has some morals.
Yes, you need morals.
Because outside of the morality structure, why do anything?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it also said that it needed to be a society that was well informed.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I think we've
difficult thing these days to find the truth and everything.
So Christian nationalism. I mean, let's face it. You can't legislate morality.
No.
However,
teach it
from an idea and from a cultural point of view. It's obviously way better than the alternative.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
At least on the Christian side, they believe in that human life is sacred. I
mean, look at your 10 Commandments. I mean, that pretty much sums it all up right there, right?
Yep. And on the other side is the opposite of Christian would be the materialism. I mean, there's other things, but what's really big right now are the people that are attacking him want the socialist aspect.
Yes.
And the or not necessarily socialist per se, but maybe communist.
Communism, yeah. You see it all the time now.
So what is the moral structure for communism or socialism?
I mean, it's a hey, feed me. It's like the difference between like I was always taught growing up. It's like the conservative side, they'll teach you how to fish. The left side, they'll just give you the fish. So that's
or they'll take the fish from somebody that has it to give it to you.
To give it to somebody else.
Eventually the fish will run out.
Yeah. Eventually, if it was Margaret Thatcher, maybe said eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yeah. Hey, that is a Christian narrative, by the way, a Christian, what is it? The parable.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm going to butcher it. But It is the same idea. You give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
Yep.
You teach him how to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life.
Yep.
So the alternative to Christian nationalism is materialism, which materialism comes from the idea that everything is matter. Everything is made from material or matter, right? And if matter gets in your way, all you have to do is remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's humans as well. If you don't like a human,
you just get rid of it.
It's not like they're sacred or anything in their worldview. You just get rid of it. And it's not, you know what I'm saying? And thoughts, same thing with thoughts. If the thoughts don't line up and they keep getting in the way of our utopia,
get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Yep. Because see, has been happening now for quite some time in our society.
So the
alternative.
alternative.
Look what they tried to do with Trump. They tried to just get rid of it.
So
34, 34 counts,
felonies,
convictions. Yeah, not one of them stuck. But they just try to get rid of it.
So let's juxtapose that, right? Life is sacred. Life is matter, and it's not sacred. I think I'm going to go with life is sacred on that one.
100%.
It makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Even if you don't believe in all the religious part of it or every part of the book of the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. The main structure of it is teaching you how to be a good moral person in society.
Yep.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So the other claim that made him a fascist is his immigration stance.
Right.
And I mean, that's still, even over a month later, that's still a big hot topic. Matter of fact,
it is.
You know who Nick Shirley is?
No.
He's one of them ground reporters that is out there, like,
like an independent journalist type thing?
But he's out there. But he's always out there. He's just filming. He just films everything, and then news organizations will
take his
license his stuff and so on and so forth. But he's obviously been on the ground with all of the ICE, Antifa, scuffles in Chicago and in Portland. Yeah. And the other day, I think, was he in Chicago? Where was he at? He was in Chicago, I think it was. Maybe it was Portland. I don't know. One of those states that was having all his stuff. And they were gone. Antifa's gone. And he was walking around their camp.
Oh, no way.
They had fridges, they had grills, they had medical supplies, they had food. They were stocked, man.
Well, I mean, they're definitely financed. I think we know that. I've been watching this guy. Have you seen, I think it's Nick Friedman?
Yeah, I've heard of Nick Friedman.
Yeah. He's been the one going around exposing all these paid protesters, finding them all over the country, different events.
Yeah.
It's like, nobody's doing that on their own.
So I this is another topic. See, and this is a problem, right? All of these topics, everything that they accuse him of, right? Everything is in their eyes, is surface layer. They only scratch down just skin deep and villainize it right from the get-go.
Yes.
Every conversation deserves a deep dive. Why? Why are we against illegal immigration?
Right. Yeah, 100%. But even Charlie, so like I started watching him. So during COVID, I started following all the people that were getting booted off of Facebook and Instagram, because I figured that they probably had something. They were probably saying something I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand why they were all getting the boot, and he was one of them. And it's funny because people talk about him, and a lot of people didn't even know who he was until that happened.
Right.
Right. But they talk about him as if they've listened to what the guy's been preaching for the past, 10 years. And it's very easy to tell that either they're looking at it from a completely different angle, which I can't understand what angle that is, or they're just not listening to it and they're listening to the echo chamber.
Well, we know that's true.
Yeah, 100%.
Just based off of things that we've put out and had people attack us.
Oh, 100%, no doubt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they came after us. Yeah.
They'd never even listened to an episode.
Never listened to the episode.
And all of a sudden they're up there talking as the moral authority. But
the echo chamber told them what to think.
Yeah. They're queen
mentality.
bee or whatever.
Yep.
So, what they didn't like was he called it the Great Replacement Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that?
No, what is
Do
that?
you know what that is? So the idea or the claim that he would make is that the reason that the other side has opened the borders and just let people flood in is because they want to replace American citizens with the illegal immigrants so that they can change the voter block, right?
I've heard of that. I just didn't know what it was called. Yeah.
And he was he pushed that idea. Not that he was for the Great Replacement. He called it the Great Replacement. He said that they were doing this, but in reality, they kind of were. Maybe not for that specific reason. That was just a bonus, right? That's just something that. Oh yeah, and this, right?
Yep.
I think the real thing is our population is in massive decline.
Yeah, big time.
People aren't having kids.
People aren't having kids like they used to.
They're not.
No,
And
my grandparents were like one of 8, one of 9.
Guess what? Other worldview is supportive of kids.
Oh yeah,
Christian
nationalism.
They believe in having kids and
family,
populate,
and everything else.
the family unit, everything. And this is going to go into the next claim was his very aggressive stance on the LGBTQ versus family structure, right?
Correct.
Look, I don't care what you want to do as an adult.
Correct.
Do whatever you want to do.
Keep it out of the kids.
Keep it away from the kids.
Keep it away from the kids.
But you have to admit that those are dead ends to population growth.
Oh, big time, yeah. Transgenderism and no doubt about it.
The whole LGBTQ movement it's a dead end to population growth.
It is.
Like men who are together, they can't have babies.
Nope.
Women and women who are together, they're not going to have babies.
Not gonna have a baby, no.
The trans people, they're not going to have babies. The only way that they can have a baby is taking a real baby from a real biological woman.
Correct.
And raising it as their own. So they're not really contributing to society. They're just contributing to the growth of somebody else's child. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So, because he was a very avid Christian and he believed in population and
sanctity of marriage and family,
right? The continuance of the human race.
All the stuff we grew up with. It's like Sunday was family day.
Yeah, right. You've said that a number of times that you didn't do anything on Sunday.
Sunday, everything was closed. Stores were closed. If you didn't go to the liquor store on Saturday or the grocery store on Saturday, like you didn't have anything for Sunday.
Yep.
And it was literally wake up, go to church, come home, change, go to grandma and grandpa's house, playing pick up football and watching Sunday football in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And we've gotten away from that as a society.
Well, it got replaced by technology and screens and
screens, sports every weekend now. It's
single parent homes and multi income needing revenue generation for the home because of that. There's a lot of reasons why.
Yes,
and this show is not really about that. We'll talk about it at some point in another show, but. This is to highlight the top claims that made Charlie Kirk a fascist in the left's eyes and why it wasn't fascism.
No, not at all.
And I'll tell you.
All you do is watch his debates. I mean, he just open conversation.
You watched him more than I did.
Yeah.
How many times did a trans person come up to the mic and he literally had empathy for them?
Yeah. 100%.
And they would start talking and the crowd would start doing their thing and he'd be like, no, stop, hear him out, listen to him.
Yeah.
And at one point he literally, I remember a video, I can't remember which one it was, but he literally said, I am so sorry that experience happened to you. Like he was literally very empathetic to the people that were talking.
He was.
So you can't have that. That's too
no.
That's too
He was trying to educate some of these people on, okay, this is what you've been taught, but this is not correct. And he was definitely big anti-college.
Yeah.
You know, he was
Because that's where they were teaching a lot of
because
this
that's
stuff.
where they're teaching this stuff. Yeah, like I used to love it when you have some professors up there in economics, and you know, well, how come you're not teaching? I forget the names, but how come you're not teaching this guy and this guy, but you're teaching this guy and this guy? And they didn't have a good answer for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know what their answer was every time.
Yes.
Orange man bad.
Yeah, 100%. This has been something that's put in place back in the 1950s with
Sure.
indoctrination of the youth. Because let's face it, that's the upcoming generation. Like you're not teaching an old dog new tricks.
Well, that is the juxtaposition of the Christian moral worldview, is the nihilistic worldview.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they call it that or not, it is nihilistic in nature, because you're eliminating your entire species.
Pretty much.
Because you're not contributing to it. Like we're at 1.6. What is the birth rate right now?
It's under 2. I know that. Yeah,
way
it's
under
like
2, and it's supposed to have a healthy population to replace. You need at least 2.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number. I reserve the right to be wrong. But
now they come up with a point.
2.4
for a person. But
well, that's the little people. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
2.5.
I'm just kidding. But anyway, so he was not fascist in that aspect. He was empathetic to them.
He was.
Now, obviously, if they came up throwing daggers and throwing knives and just not listening, and
a lot of them did.
Yep. Then he would, you return, you come to their level of communication.
There was one guy. Yeah, there was one guy with a megaphone. I remember seeing it. Chanting from the crowd. He had him up to the mic, and he kept blowing at it in a microphone. Didn't even sound halfway intelligent. Just came up there calling Charlie a loser, this, that, and it's like that person, in my opinion, is just incapable of any kind of conversation.
It is.
That's not in their direction.
And they want that, so that's disruption. They want to disrupt it.
Yes.
And if you're trying to have a civil conversation, you have to eliminate. That's the wrong word.
Yeah.
They eliminate. You have to get rid of the disruption.
Yeah.
But not. I don't mean like get rid of it in the sense.
No.
You have to like
not assassinate it.
No.
Oh.
That's what they would do. That's what they did.
Yeah, they did.
Believe it.
Some people just couldn't have a real conversation. That's the problem.
So there's a lot of claims here that they said made him a fascist, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I just wanted to hit a few of them, right? Like the election integrity. They claim that he was an election denier. Which now we're seeing reports that the news is forced to report on about a lot of claims that
they're investigating it all.
You know what I'm saying?
They came to this state. I know that.
Matter of fact, I just read something that Dominion is being bought by a former conservative.
I saw that. I did see the same thing.
So
they should just get rid of They should. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing it go back to hand counting again.
Yeah.
Old school. People should have to show up on election day. You know, I don't mind their early voting as much as I do the mail-in ballots. I just think that opens it up to too much.
Well, ballot harvesting. I know it's illegal in
allowed.
some. So
it's allowed.
That's a theory, by the way, and I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole. Right. But there's a theory that in a lot of these states, the reason that I think it was Portland, it might have been Portland the other day when Nick Shirley was looking through that encampment, and Antifa was gone. That's because the police came that morning to pick him up, and the theory is that the governors who were pushing against the president didn't want the National Guard, didn't want him to they didn't want him to declare Insurrection Act.
No, they did not.
And send the National Guard, because now those National Guard are going to be there during the election, watching those ballot boxes. And while
we're already talking about it,
putting 3 ballots in the ballot box, that's not necessarily a thing. You show up with the wagon full of boxes of them, saying you just went through your neighborhood and got them all.
I mean, let's face it, they had it on film in Georgia.
Yeah.
Pulling suitcases out from under desks and feeding the ballots through the machines. Like, how those people didn't end up on trial is beyond me.
Well, that's because it's the
The media doesn't help.
man. I've been watching. So I've looked into all of these claims, right? Like I've been searching them. I've looked at my stance on these claims, and I don't always agree with what Charlie had to say.
No.
And there's a lot of things that I felt like he missed a lot of the nuance in some of these topics.
Like abortion, he was definitely firmly against abortion.
Yeah.
But even in the scenario of like a rape scenario,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're the one that was raped.
Yeah.
And now you're forced to have this guy's kid.
But that's a very low minority of
it's a very low,
it's
correct.
Like
yeah.
Very
low percentage.
Like,
yes.
Like in the single digits low.
Yes.
Like I would almost go, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I would go to say that's maybe 1% of
it might even be less than that.
It might be. So,
but he took that stance.
That was another stance that he took. That they called him fascist. They said he wanted to control female, women's bodies.
Yep.
But they could never say what is a woman.
No. Which was a great show, by the way. Did you see that movie?
I did, yeah. With,
funny as hell.
Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh, yeah.
So my cousin is he was a state trooper. It's my wife's cousin.
Okay, yeah.
But by marriage, and I don't even think it was it was like a cousin, like removed, like it wasn't even really a blood cousin.
Much removed.
But he was a state trooper, and we see him at all the families. And when he retired as a state trooper, he went into personal security, and he was actually Matt Walsh's security guard when he was here.
Oh, because he came to Providence in Boston
with that blue-haired lady.
Yes, I remember that.
And he didn't realize who Matt Walsh was, and when he realized it, he was like, security. That was funny. So that's another one of the claims, by the way, is his abortion stance.
Yeah, I can see that one. That was a pretty.
I mean, that goes back to Christian nationalism and positive population growth.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're 100%. Killing off your population in the wound,
you're not going to continue
to.
I mean, China's dealing with that now.
They are.
Because they had population control for so many years. Now it's come back to bite them in the ass.
Yep.
And they don't have the workforce in order to handle what they got going on.
So those were just some of the claims. There's a number of other ones. But I'll tell you the real reason why I think, and again, take this for what you will. I think that they assassinated him because of his effectiveness, number one, to communicate.
Yes.
Not only his effectiveness to communicate, but his effectiveness to communicate with the
youth
crowd.
They know that's their bread and butter, and they can't afford to lose that population.
Yep.
If they lose that population, they won't win another election for the next 30 years.
And it was happening.
happening.
This last election, the young male.
18 to 25 or something like that. It was a huge spike.
Skyrocketed.
Yes. Big time.
I say that's mostly because of what Charlie did.
It's all over the place.
Matter of fact, we had on when we first did our episode, right? We had your son and one of his buddies come up. They're young, right?
Yep.
And we wanted to get their reaction to how they felt about it.
That was the day after.
The day after. And we weren't able, like I said, we weren't able to air it because of the speed that information was flying.
Came in pretty quick.
But I still think it's important that what they had to say be heard.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it was surprising to me. My son was the first one to tell me about what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy cow. And then you find out all these other kids his age, he's only 16 years old.
Yeah.
And usually I think they're just on their phone watching TikTok garbage.
Brain rot, they call it.
30-second stupid clips of people doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
But no, come to find out, he actually
been watching Charlie.
Him and a bunch of his buddies actually watched Charlie on, I wouldn't say a regular basis, but fairly
regular
frequently.
Enough to be able to see him get blown away on TV.
Enough to know about the message the guy was getting out there.
So I think that I'm still going to place in here. I'm still going to listen to some of the stuff that they had to say.
Yeah, put him on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. And you're right. That is what they feared the most, is his success
Yeah. Here, listen
with
to
the
it.
younger generation.
Listen to it.
Yeah, a lot of kids our age, whether at school or just outside of school, and we all pretty much were influenced by him in a way. He was just a friendly debater trying to change the course of the country, and it ended in tragedy.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I feel like everybody our age these days either knows who he is, and everyone I've talked to since it's happened, since yesterday, has even been like, I didn't support him, but no one should die over something that little.
Yeah.
A man with 2 kids killed because someone doesn't like what they have to say.
I pretty much just listen to Charlie Kirk, like Jason said,
That's what I'm
when he
saying.
pops up on the different platforms like Instagram and TikTok. A lot of TikTok videos. He had a very big following on TikTok.
We'll kill the face of the figure. Yeah, but you saw his whole army behind us. Every kid my age, supporting him or not, is saying that he did the right thing.
Yeah.
Because even what he talked about, if you didn't like what he talked about, what he was doing was still the good thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't very many people out there who would go to college every day and would be like, here's what I think this. And then he'd be like, tell me how you think. He wouldn't be like, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. He wasn't just like talking to them, wouldn't let them talk. They'd walk up to the mic and he'd be like, what do you have to say? He'd ask them first and let them talk first.
And he listened.
Yeah. And he'd just sit
And he-
there.
and
He'd
he had-
sit there and listen, then would give his part when they're done. And I think one of the other problems is also like the history teachers nowadays is because every school, none of them ever talk about any sort of politics in any way. And so I think that also is a problem for us kids, and why Charlie was such a big impact on us is because that was kind of our first look at politics at our age.
Yeah.
And to make it so we understood to it, because no one else talked to us about it. No teacher would talk to us about it. Yeah, you'd be influenced by your parents. So then if you're only influenced by your parents, you're only going to think what your parents think. You're not going to ever have an opinion for yourself.
Correct.
And that's the only people that we would hear politics from was your grandparents, your birth parents. Other than that, you had no one else to get any sort of opinion from unless you watched the news, which no one our age really watched the news.
No.
Until Charlie came out, and then it gave kids a natural look at politics and gave them another view on it.
We all need each other as human beings. We all need each other. We all need to come together and stop fighting.
So you see, like it obviously it had a profound effect on them.
Yeah. These
And I know that is,
kids aren't even voting age yet.
and I know that is anecdotal. You know, it's just 2 kids that we know, right?
Yeah.
But
There's more than that. I mean,
if those two are doing it, then
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've had conversations with my son's friends after that, and yeah, a lot of kids are watching it, and especially on the male side. You're right, on the younger male side.
Well, the females have really been indoctrinated with the feminist movement. You know, we had on a guy the other day, and I'm not going to shout it out just yet because his episode isn't aired yet. It might be aired by the time this one, or maybe not. But he was talking about toxic masculinity. And he was like, if masculinity is toxic and we're going to call it out, why can't we call out toxic femininity?
Femininity.
Where's Jason?
That's
when
like
we need
Jason
him?
was. Yeah, what's that word?
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Femininity.
Anonymity.
Anyway, so that's a great. That's going to be a good episode. But anyway, I think that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And whoever did it, whether it be this Tyler Robinson guy, I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah, Tyler Robinson.
I try not to
No.
give him any.
Just had him on yesterday, actually.
Did they?
They're letting him wear civilian clothes, I guess, but it has to be in shackles. I don't know.
There's so many different theories that are.
Oh, yeah,
right
I've
there.
seen some of the conspiracy type theories.
Yeah, I've seen Candace. She's been really lighting up.
She's been pretty vocal about these text
Turning
messages.
Point. She has been.
And they're basically the donors.
Yep.
I would turn against them.
I don't know. I don't know what the validity to them are, if there is any. I mean, she was close to Charlie.
She was.
So
But you're right. They show the microphone and.
I mean, some of it is just like, you know how. So, all right. So I was in an organization that I'm not going to say now, but a lot of people have very negative feelings about that organization because it was an exclusive organization.
Yep.
And when people don't know something, it's a natural instinct to automatically assume the worst. So when people don't know why something was done or who actually did something, they're going to, their brain wants to connect the dots.
Yep.
And if there's no dots to connect, it's going to find its own dots to connect. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to put the episode out before that we did, you know, the day after, because I didn't want to add to connecting dots that weren't really there.
Correct. Yes.
But
because you're right, it was very shortly after where all of a sudden, whoop, the information came out.
Yep.
Happened pretty quick. What was it, within 2 days?
At least,
2 days they got him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
pretty quick.
I figured we'd put this out. This is our ode to Charlie.
Yeah. Yep.
Rest in peace,
he will be
buddy.
missed. And I will be watching the Turning Point Super Bowl halftime show.
You will be.
Oh, yeah. Of Bad Bunny, whatever the hell is that. I didn't even know who that guy was until they came out with that.
I have no clue who he is.
No, I couldn't tell you what he sings.
And honestly, I don't want to know who he is.
Nope, me neither. Don't care.
But I probably won't be watching the Super Bowl, period. I'm not a football guy. Sorry. I don't know if that eliminates me from the crew. So I know you guys are big sports guys.
Not at all.
But anyway, that's it, man. I just wanted to, I wanted to contribute to, and I know you wanted to contribute to the Charlie Kirk conversation.
Discussion. Yep.
What it meant, you know, what, you know, and this was the best path that I think we could have taken.
Yeah, agreed.
And I wanted the kids to be able to get their voice out as well.
Never forget.
Never forget. And I don't think people will.
No, this one.
That was a very
Seems like this one hit home for a lot of people.
mind-searing moment.
Yep.
All right. Well, let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Go to @Cumberland Unfiltered on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. And tell us what you think. That's a wrap.